Pokemon Legends ZA is an absolute trashterpiece, or Pixelopso, if you will. It's a game I was incredibly excited for because it promised the real-time Pokemon battles I've always dreamed about. Yet, when I finally got my hands on the game, I was left almost bored, despite the game being exactly what I expected. I had trouble putting my finger on exactly why I felt this way, but after some deep soul searching on my couch eating potato chips, I discovered how to put it into words. Let's start with the Donphan in the room and the big innovation for this game, the real-time battles. I personally think they're great. I don't think they're better than the typical turn-based battle, just different. Like the way that your parents love you and your siblings, just different. The change to real-time allows the battling experience to be incredibly streamlined. You can run through a field like Little Bunny Fufu, bopping all the field mice on the head, and enter trainer battles with ease. When you start a trainer battle, you and your opponent become locked in your own little Thunderdome where you and your Pokemon can run around as you please. And rather than each of your moves having a limited number of uses like they would in the normal games, they instead have a cooldown based on how strong the move is. You would think that this would make the battles a lot more dynamic, but that isn't really the case. Similar to mainline Pokemon games, you just level up your main few Pokemon and steamroll your way through the game. So why do I think the new combat system is so great? Well, even though playing against NPCs still feels like you're boxing a 5-year-old, the battling system really shines in online play. The reason is that online battles are a 4-way free-for-all that are against real people. Once you put the brains of non-clankers behind the steering wheel of your opponent's Pokemon, the new dynamic nature of the battling system really comes into play. Using things like switching and mega evolving for iframes to dodge moves, running around with you and your Pokemon to avoid attacks, waiting to strike and scoop up low HP kills when your opponents wear each other down. Playing versus people adds a ton of depth that you just don't see when playing through the game. If NPCs are the kiddie pool, then online play is like the ocean. The free-for-all nature of the battles makes them a lot more casual than the online matches of other Pokemon games, making the barrier to entry a lot lower to get in there and start having fun. The online matches alone reinvigorated my drive to play the game. To catch and train new and different Pokemon to try out online helped me get many more hours out of the game than I would have if I just played the base game. Moving back to the base game, there's a special type of battle you'll be doing a lot of, and I mean a lot of. More on that later. And those are battles against Pokemon that have undergone rogue Mega Evolution from snorting too much Mega Energy. They're a special type of battle where you're placed in a large arena and both you and your Pokemon have to dodge the rogue Pokemon's attacks while you gather up the power to Mega Evolve to finally deal decent damage to the rogue Pokemon. These battles are fun and a nice change of pace, but they can drag on a bit long. Now let's talk a bit more about the macro gameplay. There are two distinct phases you'll play in: daytime and, you guessed it, sunset. I'm kidding, daytime and nighttime. During the day, you'll be running around the city to find different scaffolding obstacles to solve, catching Pokemon in the wild zones, and no, not that one! Sorry about that. And progressing the story. At night, you have access to all the same activities, but you'll also have access to the battle zones, which is where the city-sanctioned Pokemon battles are held. These are areas filled to the brim with trainers, and you want to beat as many as you can in one night to earn more money and more points in the Z-A Royale, which is necessary to progress the story. In order to gain more points and money, you can also gain challenges to complete. They range from using certain types of moves to employing guerrilla tactics to strike your enemy down before they even know they're in a battle, which is exactly as honorable as it sounds. You sneak up on a dude and just evaporate his poor little Pokemon before it can even react. The story is a simple one, which is fine. You're traveling to visit Lumio City, based loosely upon New York. You can tell because of the big ol' Space Needle in the center. Upon arriving in the city, you're greeted by Tawny, who's going to be your rival. And after chasing down a Pokemon who stole your bag, Tawny offers you your choice of starter to do battle with a Thieving Mons trainer. Tepig the pig, Totodile the crocodile, and Chikorita the... chickpea? Anyways, after winning your battle, Tawny sees how well you worked with their Pokemon, and in a move that exemplifies the sacred bond between a trainer and their Pokemon, they just give it to you. Night falls, and this area becomes a designated battle zone. After escaping through the nearest exit, you're taken to Hotel Z, which becomes your in-game home. In the following days, you join Team MZ, a group who chooses to represent the hotel in the Z-A Royale, and you're entered into the Z-A Royale yourself. This is a citywide competition to determine the strongest trainer in the city. There's a bit more to it than that, but I'm gonna keep this relatively spoiler-free. How you progress is by battling enough trainers to earn a ticket for a rank-up match. Then you have to go and win that rank-up match to progress the story. This puts an artificial gate where you can't just plow through the story. Your ability to progress the story gets put on pause until you go earn your 15th Challenger ticket. And while on your journey to become the model of peak performance, you begin to investigate strange cases around the city of Pokemon who, much like your uncle once politics are brought up at Thanksgiving, have gone rogue. These Pokemon are undergoing involuntary Mega Evolution without a trainer by their side, causing them to be a danger to themselves and those around them. But nobody seems too concerned, honestly. While the battles against these rogue Pokemon are neat and a nice change of pace, they're overused to the point of breaking the pace. You'll complete a story segment, then get forced into an unskippable Team MZ strategy meeting where you yap about the next 3 Megas you'll have to beat. Then you have to go to one of the 10 to 15 minute battles to beat each one. And this happens many times throughout the story. Combine this with the need to level up your Z to A rank as well to continue, and it feels like the story is slowed to a crawl and drip-fed to you over an artificially extended period. I wouldn't wish having to play through the entire thing again on my worst enemy. It's that slow. At least you'll meet many interesting characters along the way, though. Like AZ, or Az, owner of the hotel you stay at and allegedly a 3,000-year-old man. And Mabel, the Pokemon researcher with a troubled past. As well as the other members of Team MZ, Tawny, your rival, whose friendliness towards everyone has allowed her to befriend a varied team of Pokemon. Lydia, whose bubbly personality and smooth dance moves mean she's primarily a Water-type trainer. And Naveen, who uses Dark types because, come on, he's clearly angsty. Although the story is overall pretty weak, they've done an excellent job making all the main characters interesting and unique, and have done a great job making them come to life through their words and expressions. Even an NPC made me chuckle when she turned and made a shocked face to the camera after learning the Raichu she just traded for sometimes gets so amped up that it shocks its own trainer. I'm sure you've heard talk about the graphics by now. A big talking point I've seen is that windows and things are just pictures on the sides of buildings and not real textures. In all honesty, I didn't really notice. I'm not someone who combs the background for issues, so I won't notice something unless it's a glaring problem. And in all honesty, the buildings were not a glaring problem for me. I never spent too much time looking at them and spent almost no time looking at them closely. So having some lazy modeling and texturing going on in the background didn't bother me at all. But as for the graphics for things that do matter, like characters, Pokemon, battles, there isn't anything too bad or impressive to me, which is a negative in my eyes. Don't get me wrong, it's a step up from the previous games, but with the jump in power the Switch 2 has, I can't help but feel like the game's graphics are a bit held back by being made for the Switch as well. I know it probably wouldn't look any better, but let me cope. I guess a positive of this, though, is that I didn't notice any performance issues on my playthrough of the game on the Switch 2. On the sound side of things, the music in the game slaps. Pokemon always seems to deliver on the battle music, and in this game, it's banger after banger of themes for the key trainers you'll encounter through your playthrough. I mean, come on, listen to this! Also, for some reason, the sound of you running around really hits my ears G-spot. Oh, yeah, that's nice. As for the overall content, the game has about 20 to 25 hours of main story content, and the total content has something in common with your girlfriend in that it is completely inflated. The reason being that it's a Pokemon game, and has all the regular fluff associated with that. From the base level of completing your Pokédex, finding all the important items like TMs, and completing all the scaffolding puzzles for screws that let you buy permanent upgrades, to the higher grade of fluff, like shiny hunting or creating optimized teams for online play. There's really plenty to do to keep you busy, but much of it is busy work in that it isn't new content, just more of the same. This game doesn't do anything fancy to pioneer the amount of content in a Pokemon game. If Scarlet and Violet is McDonald's, then this game is Wendy's. They both serve burgers, fries, and shakes. They're just a little different. But if you're into burgers, then you won't be complaining about having a few more options. If you're someone who loves Pokemon games, this is a good pickup for you. The game brings some new experiences to the table with the real-time battles, but the game is far from revolutionary. The story is slow, graphics are fine, and battles don't shine unless against online opponents. So if you're on the edge of getting the game, I wouldn't. As much as the online battles really reinvigorated my interest in playing the game, I can't in good conscience recommend the game to anyone else because of how lackluster it is, even with the new battle system in place. Overall, I'd give it 6 Pokemon on your team out of 10 points. Because while the combat is a shiny new toy, the rest of the game is just dull and uninspired. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below if there's any game coming up that you'd like to see me review in the future.